I live in a private neighborhood near the beach, and it's a really nice area. It's not super evened up in terms of how to get around, but it is within very close walking distance to train stations. I think to the train station, you could probably get there in about 35 to 45 minutes. The bus stop 5 minutes away or a little more, and it gives me the opportunity to be able to get around easier. It is limiting in a sense that the neighborhood is not really even, and once we're on the main strip where the beach is, it does take a while to get to the train station. You have to really focus on many different aspects in order to be able to get around. If you are able to get to the train or to the bus, you have an opportunity of getting out to the city and getting to different areas of the city. Hearing plays a huge role in terms of how a blind person gets around. Being able to communicate with other people also does. It's really about me making those decisions. You have to really trust yourself and really be able to understand your own travel skills in order to get somewhere. Otherwise, it's super easy to get lost. It's super easy to just not find your place. And that's where the importance of being mobile comes in. It builds confidence, but it also allows you to get yourself into situations you wouldn't experience by just sitting around at home. I think that's where becoming blind has had an impact on how I view life. I think I view independence, being an independent person, much differently than I would if I were a sighted person. You learn to be independent in a different way. You view independence as being able to get around on your own. It could be something as simple as going to the store and buying your own food. It seems simple enough, but it's part of an independence that you get, that it's even more so. There is for sure something in our culture that also gets in the way, and it makes people buy into the fact that as a blind person you're not supposed to be able to get around. When you're able to get yourself out there, it creates a different image of what a blind person does and who a blind person is, or the type of skills they possess or what they're able to accomplish. Many times I find myself feeling a bit of a prisoner in my own house because I want to just get up and go somewhere, and I don't really have that ability. Being blind shouldn't prevent people from doing things and from getting around and traveling. And I think being mobile is so important for someone who has a disability just in general, and even more so if you have a visual disability. Not only are we building ourselves up, but also we are showing other people that, like, hey, actually this person is able to do these things. So blind people are able to go out and do their own thing. I think a lot of people have the ability of being independent, but they decide not to because it's just easier to do that, or it's just something that everyone else in our society kind of tells you that you should do. But unfortunately, it does end up getting in the way because obviously not having a visual output, now you have to figure out situations without having that output that most people rely on. You definitely have to use all your other senses in order to really get an idea of where to go. As far as for myself, I try my best to always get around on my own, independent of being blind. There are definitely many things that I'm not able to do. So if I wake up one day and I decide that I want to travel to a different state, which are things that I really enjoy doing, I can't do that without asking someone to help me out. I could get to a bus stop and go to a different city, but then once I'm in that different city, I also have to figure out how to get from one place to the other. But it becomes way more complicated when you're out there traveling on your own, and you do have to open yourself up to trusting people sometimes, but also understanding that not everybody's going to be willing to help you out. So it becomes really about trusting your gut, figuring out, okay, I am going to turn left instead of right. because I think that's the way to go. It's not always like that, because obviously sometimes you make the wrong decision and you end up in a completely wrong place, or you end up lost somewhere. Being lost is one of my favorite things. It's frustrating at the same time, but it's also really good because it gives you an opportunity to really build your own confidence in yourself, or to communicate with others. Being able to understand that it's okay to ask for people's help is also really important. But I have never been against that. I have never been against just asking people, hey, could you direct me to such and such place? I think even a little bit of help goes a long way. And having a cane, being that my cane skills aren't as good, I actually end up having to ask for way more help, but it's more difficult to get that help. You have to put yourself in front of people a lot of times. Cutting people off becomes a thing that I do often, and instead of just saying, excuse me, you have to kind of like go toward them and almost put yourself in front of their bodies so that they will notice you and notice that you need help. Most times they will help, sometimes they won't. Other times people will just blow right by you, pretend like they didn't hear you. Sometimes you will ask somebody for help, they'll walk by you, but then someone else will overhear you and help you out. Sometimes they're not really super helpful because they will give you the wrong directions, but you can appreciate their time and their willingness to help.
Welcome to New York. You might not can see, but you can hear with them ears. I bet you can see with your ears. And you see music. That's right.